All right. So Davido finds a wife. And what does that mean? Okay. I think there's a verse in the Bible, Proverb. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and read all of Proverb 18 to you. I think we're going to learn a lot from it. I think the Bible is a solid book. You learn a lot, okay, from the Bible. If you're not thinking of it in a religious way, if you're actually taking some of the lessons, some of them may not apply to the world you live in today. Leave it alone. There's no need to argue over it. But some of them are so straightforward. They are words of wisdom. Like most of the stuff from Proverbs, most of that stuff are stuff you can relate with any age, right? So I find this Proverb 18:22 talks about finding a good wife. Many of you already know what that verse is about, right? The verse says, I'm going to read that to you. It says, He who finds a wife finds a good thing and gets favor from the Lord. And I think that's what this is about, more so than Chioma finding a husband, right? I think that's what it's about. I think it's more so about finding a wife than it's about finding a husband. Because if you find a wife, right, when you find a wife, you do everything in your power to protect that situation. So today, just for a few minutes, I will also talk about what husband means, okay? But particularly if you're going to make marriage work, right? If you're going to make marriage work, the first thing is renewing of your mind. Your mindset is like your number one asset. Outside of yourself, your time, your mindset is your number one asset. And what feeds our mindset is our experiences. Okay? Our experiences, the way we've been socialized, the way we've been pre-programmed. And those are some of the things that affect our decision making as we move into the future. If whatever you're doing is working for you, it's very simple for me. Keep doing it. Me, I would never, once you, like, if you're not ending your statement with a sentence, I literally look for that. That's where I add value. If you have a sentence or you ask for my insights directly, I see an opportunity to add value. It doesn't have to be the correct answer, but you're giving me an opportunity to add some value. If you're making a statement, I'm just going to have to assume that you know what you're talking about. Unless you're being offensive, then I'll check you. If it's at a personal level, not on this YouTube stuff, but in a personal level, I'll check you. If you're being offensive, I'll let you know that you're being offensive. But if you ask a question, I see it as an invitation to add value. So I'm saying that to tell you that if what you're doing works for you, right, keep doing it. There's no need. But if you're trying to sell me on something else, then I will have to assume that what you're doing is probably not working for you. Okay, so I just wanted to say that as a background real quick when it comes to this. But I think Proverb 18 is a solid chapter in the Bible that you can read over and over again, and you can build a whole life around it. Okay, so verse 1, he who stays away from others cares only about himself. He argues against all good wisdom. Okay. A fool does not find joy in understanding, but only in letting his own mind be known. Who would have thought that was in the Bible? Right? Even when we're arguing within marriage, sometimes we just all about you're not seeking understanding. When you find yourself in not seeking understanding, it's called an argument. You just want to get your own mind known. So when two people are participating in that behavior, you have an active, right? So all the time here, we talk about active listening. That's what that verse is talking about. A fool does not find joy in understanding, okay? But only in letting his own mind know. I'll just let you know my own and that's it, right? Gotta be careful. It's not always a bad thing. It's often a bad thing. Number 3, verse 3. See, I don't read the Bible a lot, you can tell. Verse 3, when a sinful man comes, hate comes also. And where there is no honor, there is shame. Verse 4, the words of a man's mouth are deep waters. What you say out of your mouth matters, obviously, right? Wisdom comes like a flowing river, making a pleasant noise. I'm reading all of this because I don't want you to think I'm jumping to 18 or 22 just to talk about wife. No, that's not what we're doing here, okay? I'm reading so you can get some context of the flow of the chapter. It is not good to favor the sinful and to keep what is fair from one who is right with God. Remember, I always talk about don't be obsessed with fairness. This one is actually pushing against me. The truth is that in many respects in life, we have to call right and wrong. Yes, there's no doubt about that, okay? But I just think we kind of do a lot of that already, right? But most of us know what is right and wrong. The issues are deeper, okay? Let's keep going. We're getting there. Verse 6, the lips of a fool bring fighting, and his mouth calls for a beating, okay? 7, the mouth of a fool is what destroys him. When they say him here, you know the Bible is somewhat patriarchal. It's kind of like, so they're talking about all of us, okay? This is just the ages. They wrote this in the ages when they only counted men. They didn't count children, they didn't count women. That's just that age. So when they say him or they're talking about a man, they're talking about, just translate it to all of us, because all of us are running things in our lives. We have the power to do that anyway. So, all right. So 8, the words of one who speaks about others in secret are like tempting bites of food. They go down into the inside parts of the body. Okay. 9, he who is lazy in his work is a brother to him who destroys. Okay. If you're a lazy person, you're basically closely related to people who destroy. 10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The man who does what is right runs into it and is safe. Many of you are probably familiar with that. 11, the rich man's money is a strong city. The money is not the currency, it's the strong city, and he thinks it is like a high wall. Okay. 12, the heart of a man is proud before he is destroyed. Did we talk about humility here earlier or not? Okay, that's just another way of saying pride precedes falling, all that kind of stuff. I'm reading a particular version, New Life Version here, so pardon me, okay? So again, the heart of a man is proud before he is destroyed. It's talking about the egotistical pride, coconut head part, right? But having no pride goes before honor. Okay. So context. Okay. 13. If one gives an answer before if he hears, if you are just giving an answer before you hear, you are listening just to respond. That's what he's talking about. It makes him or her foolish and ashamed. It's right there in the script. I've said that forever. I don't read the Bible a lot, but I've told you that I've read the Bible back to back 3 times before. So I have a good idea of what's in it. That Bible is complete if you don't take it out of context. But what I find is a lot of people who read the Bible and they only read the side that works with the side of their brain that works. Let's keep going. All right, so I'm going to read that again. If one gives an answer before he hears, it makes him foolish and ashamed. I've made that mistake before too. It's a natural thing. Sometimes you just engage in a conversation and you already know what they're thinking. And then you're like, that's why I said your superpower is patience, active listening, okay? And it's okay if you make a boo-boo sometimes, you pick yourself up, but you understand this as a fact of life. You have to be aware. You have to be very, very aware when it comes down to this active listening thing. Listen to understand. You might just find out that you don't need to respond anymore, and you'll be happy and you'll be okay. All right. Excuse me. Let's keep going. The spirit of a man can help him through his sickness, but who can carry a broken spirit? Speaking of broken spirit, this next segment we're getting into, stick around for it. All right, because I have a fantastic example of what a broken spirit sound or reads like. 15, an understanding mind gets much learning. Understanding meaning a mind that's open-minded, like you're open to receiving more. They get much learning, and the ear of the wise listens for much learning. All right. 16, a man's gift makes room for him. Davido, think Davido now. This is a good time to think Davido. A man's gift makes room for him. Never mind all of your righteousness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you think righteousness is all it takes. Honesty is the best policy. In the grand scheme of things, how can I tell you like this? How can I help you say it? What's the nicest way to say it? This is right there in the scriptures. Okay, who is a Muslim here? There's nobody that's a Muslim here, right? Even if you're a Muslim, this one is clear to you. It's all the same anyway, by the way, in my opinion. All right, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him in front of great men. Okay, the gift. When people have gifts, they get away with a lot, right? But they can also self-destruct. Let's not get that twisted. Because look at people like Puff Daddy, look at the R. Kellys, right? These are extremely talented people. So we try to tell some of them, if they are moving mad, like they're don't move mad. All these doors are opening for you, but the same people will cast you, okay, if it comes down to a matter of survival for our society. But please don't get it twisted. A man's gift makes room for him. They have an opportunity. If you have gift, forget gift. All of us have gift. If you are operating within your gift, within your calling, you have additional grace to get away with a lot more. All right? Regardless of how judgmental people might come off. So, I just want to let you know that. 17. He who tells his story first makes people think he's right. Like the first story, the first side of the story. Until the other comes to test him. Okay? So if you notice what I do here, sometimes people say I should listen to the other side of the story. I say, I'm not listening to the other side of the story because actually I'm helping the person telling me a story on how to navigate their calamity. I'm not judging them. I'm helping them navigate. So there's no need for me to necessarily, because I'm not the judge. I'm not going to be a judge. There's no need for me to listen to the other side of the story. But if you're going to judge or come off as judgmental, maybe that's not a bad idea. But there's no two sides to a story. There's more than two sides. There's a version of the story for everybody that have listened to the story. Okay? For every time you listen to a story and you translate it to another person, you create another version. That's why when people say truth, I'm like, which truth are you talking about? The truth now, we know what the truth is. No. Oftentimes, when people say truth, there's a lot of nuances involved. Yes, oftentimes, not all the time. What is the truth? The truth is I'm live right now at 8:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. That is a fact of life. Okay? That one you can say, because that's a fact. But when people use the word truth as opposed to something being factual, they're often talking about the version of the truth that they can see. They can't see their blind spot. That's why you might see me like, kill me by truth. Right? 18. Throwing an object to decide puts an end to arguing. It keeps powerful men from fighting. So that's the attempt to be objective, essentially. That's how I read that. Try to be objective sometimes. So oftentimes we get caught up in our emotions, but emotions not be anybody's mate. You will learn more about that also today when I do share the 13 lessons. The 13 mistakes for David and Chioma to avoid immediately. I'll be sharing that today unfailingly before I leave. 19. A brother who has been hurt in the spirit is harder to be won than a strong city. If you have been hurt, pain is not your mate. If you have been hurt, there's a lot of work that you need to do. Okay? There's a lot of work that you need to do. A brother who has been hurt in the spirit is harder. That means hard. Very hard to break. To be won than a strong city. And arguing is like the iron gates of a king's house. Argument is in the scripture. Avoid it. Don't avoid it being dismissive. Engage with active listening. Allah did not tell you to go and just ignore the person because he said stop arguing. No, engage that person. You care about that person. You might be in your funk right now, but you actually do care. Ultimately, that's why you feel hurt, because the person who you care about, they also care about you. They've hurt your feelings. All right. So with that being said, you need to understand that arguments is going to happen inevitably. So when I say avoid it, it's not going to be a vacuum. You need to engage with it, active listening. They are coming from a place you don't understand yet. You might not understand it today, but just try. Give them the listening ears. If you are the one complaining, at least. 20. A man's stomach will be filled with the fruit of his mouth. He will be filled with what his lips speak. Basically speaking to the power of the tongue, right? 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your mouth. Okay, I used to watch Yoruba, what do you call it, series back when I was growing up in Akure OSRC. They would play some series, all those Babalawo people, Enu Lebo, Enu Ife. They used to say those things, and I used to think about like Enu Lebo, mouth. I don't know if that's what it means, but I just always knew that the mouth is such a powerful thing. And if you don't know how to use it, you just be like, I just want to tell the truth, and you go collect because you just run your mouth. I'm a blunt speaker. Okay, good. That's why you're collecting. Ola has always been diplomatic before. Before I go. Anyway, of course I'm diplomatic. That doesn't mean I'm trying to tell you a lie. I'm just listening. I'm listening more than I'm talking. Maybe you should try that sometimes. Anyway. 23. The poor man asks for loving kindness, but the rich man is hard in his answers. The poor man, think about that. The poor man. This is deep. This one is deep right here. Today in our Bible study, I know, right? Who would have thought? Please hit the like button. You guys love Bible studies anyway. But yeah, I tried to be a Sunday school teacher once upon a time. I was not patient for that. All right, the scenario at CAC was too much for me. I was like, you know what? I'm good. As a matter of fact, I left the church after that. I came back there. I'm still there now. I came back I left in 2009, 2 years after I got married. I came back in 2018 because the pastor was a mentor. He's a mentor of life. He's the one who forwarded our second book, Pastor Ayeni. But the scenario that goes into Sunday school, I'm good, I just didn't have enough patience for that process. All right, so yeah, we're at 21, almost there. 21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Okay? The power of the tongue, something to study. It's actually something to study. 22, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and gets favor from the Lord. Okay, I'll come back to that. 23, the poor man asks for loving kindness, but the rich man is hard in his answers. The poor man is always they're basically beggars, okay? Does that sound harsh? It's in the Bible, okay? They're beggars. The rich man is hard. He knows what he wants. He's sure of himself. He or she, they're sure of themselves. Confidence. That's how I interpret that. A lot of confidence. Everybody else, basically the bottom of society, they're always asking for someone to be kind to them. They don't realize how much power they have in attracting the kindness that they want. They're always asking for respect from their women. They have no idea how powerful they are in actually attracting the level of respect they desire from their woman. They're not even willing to listen. They just shut off. They say, well, a person who doesn't allow me to lead, I can't lead a person who doesn't allow me to lead. Brothers, please don't say that again. Thank you. Please don't say that again. It's blasphemy. Anyway, 24. A man who has friends must be a friend. A man who has friends must be a friend. But there is a friend who stays nearer than a brother. You know when people say blood is thicker than water? People are very quick to say some things that they've heard all their life. Blood is thicker than water. I love my mother more than my wife. Poto. Nonsense. The people that have experience in life, they know better than that. The people that have gone through this life, they know that some of the best Okay, some of the best opportunities that they've encountered came from a strange angle completely. You never expected it. All you have to do is keep working on yourself.
I never expected it.
Entitlement will kill you, will kill your chances at life, at an awesome life. All of this is all types of shade. Trust me, Chidima, all of this is all types of shade. All of this. But if the shoe fits, please wear it, and please nicely. And please understand that I mean well. Okay? Understand that I mean well. So now I want to talk about what is wife, what is a wife, and what is a husband. It's very simple, okay? When I say Davido find a wife, when a man finds a wife, he goes to all type. This has nothing to do with his self-control or what he decides to do with his body, okay? But I'm telling you something he can do that a lot of women, majority of women, as a matter of fact, would let him get away with. Remember already that a man's gift makes room for him. Remember that already. That's one side of it. The other side of it is that when a man finds a wife, okay, what he does is he becomes the rock. Okay, he becomes the rock that the wife can run to for anything. So even when he commits certain atrocities that you're not previewed to the behind the scenes of their lives or their life, you might not understand it from the outside looking in. But to her, this is my rock. Okay? Mindset wise, we're not talking about what you see. We're not talking about Anita on social media. We're talking about the mind of a Chioma, right? This is my rock. Did that girl today look like that's her rock or not? Most people will say she was extremely happy. You could call it short term all you want. It's all good. But you and I don't know what's happening behind the scenes of that situation. So number one. So also the scripture might call it the head. Sometimes the head comes with a lot of responsibility, like the human body. The head pumps blood back and forth between the heart. Once you remove the head of a human body, it's over. It's a wrap. You can remove everything else, the limbs. You can remove, you can even. There's so much you can do, right, with the body. But the head, once you remove the head, it's no longer, right? So the head comes with a lot of responsibility. If you want to occupy that position, just be ready to take on the responsibilities. That goes to my brothers, and it goes to all our equality powerhouses too, right? I'm not against it. Just understand that it comes with a lot of responsibility. Well, we don't need a head. We need partnership. Well, two things can be right at the same time. Speaking of two things can be right at the same time. So the husband is the head. He's the rock, essentially. He's a provider. In 2024, he must also provide emotional stability. In fact, that's the key. Forget the finances is cute and all, but have you ever been with a woman that you're not able to give her everything that you know you could give her yet, right? But she feels that you've given her the whole world because she's at peace. So provider means not just finances. Protector, obviously, not just protecting from a highway robber that's going to jump into your fence. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, if you're in the overseas, you're probably going to call 911. All of you call 911. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about protecting her in every sense of the word. Don't discount emotions in any of all of this. That's the biggest variable. A leader, okay? A leader meaning you see problems, you lead. You're not asking that someone should remove your problem before you can lead. That's not a leader, okay? Then most importantly, you can support this with Ephesians 5:26b. Actually, I think I want to read that because my father taught me that. I've shared that with you before in the past. I want to read that. This is something only my father taught me. Okay, this is only I've never heard any other pastor. My father is not a pastor; he's an elder in the church. He's considered a minister, but he's the only one that I've ever heard say this to me in the way he said it to me. Okay, so I'm talking about the responsibility of husbands before I get into a person that finds a wife. Just in case the Davidos are listening and they want to hold women accountable before we get to it. No. Yes, I'm talking about what a wife looks like, but I want to first of all show you a husband first. Again, head, the rock, provider, protector, leader, sacrificial love. What is sacrificial love? Ladies, okay? I'm convinced. I'm convinced that many of you cannot comprehend this, but men can generally comprehend this because many of them are already doing it. Particularly from a, they're doing it from a, as in like the touchables, the physical, our physical livelihood. They're doing that from that standpoint already. Oftentimes, men fall short when it comes to emotional protection, provision. That's where they fall short. But when it comes to a man showing up, I'm talking about the typical man. I'm not talking about the weirdos on the internet like the pop the balloon weirdo. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the typical man who is out there driving right now to work to go and start a night shift at 10 p.m. right now. He's going to work all the way till the morning, and he does that. He will do that. He doesn't care for a vacation. What he cares for is that his family is being fed. That's what I'm talking about. Majority of men know how to do that. Where they fall short is how to provide emotional safety. That's where they tend to fall short. And a lot of that can be attributed to the evolution that we're going through as human beings, you know. We're in a new era entirely, so a lot of people are still struggling with that. So now, speaking again, I want to read the Ephesians 5, not 25. 25 is husband loves your wife. You must love them as we get that. Most people know that part. Not 26, where it says Christ did this so he could set the church apart for himself. This part, the 26b, is the most important part. He made it clean by the washing of water with the word. Your words, cleansing. There's other versions. The version that my father might have shared with me was probably, this one is New Life Version. I think that might have been King James or something like that. Okay. Again, I don't care about the source of this for all the Daddy Free students here. I'm just thinking about how much this makes sense to me right now. That he might sanctify you as a husband, that you might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Not literally water, your words. Okay. This part, listen to this part. That he might present it to himself, a glorious church, not having spot, that means stain, right? Or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So hot men to love their wife as their own bodies. That's you. I talked about that here yesterday. Your wife is literally you. If you're disrespectful to your wife, if she's reading disrespect from you, there's a good chance that you don't respect yourself. Okay? But particularly, I wanted to talk about the cleansing. The cleansing, like she presents as a woman. It's your cleansing. I interpret that personally as your masculine energy, giving some structure, some safety, some order, right? That's what you bring to that table. And she craves it. She knows herself too. Okay? Anyway, that's that with that. So now, speaking of wife, what is a good wife? What is it that, hopefully, because I don't know their lives too, I'm just using this opportunity of the Davido 2024 to teach today. What is it that hopefully Davido has found in a wife? What is it that we're talking about today? It's very simple. It's just 4 parts. What is a wife? A helper suitable for him. You can back that up with Genesis 2:18. A helper suitable for him. That's number 1. Number 2, respectful. Uncle Beno would love this one. Respectful. So you can go to Ephesians 5:33 for that. Respectful is not just respectful just off the street stuff like that. Just basically character wise. Not just respectful to him, but just a respectful person in general. Number 3, a partner. Yay, we have partner. 2 things can be right at the same time. You can be a partner, but people can also play their roles so well. The synergy, there's sexual polarity, there's all types of other polarity. They complement each other so well, right? That when there's crisis, they can handle it. There's no such thing as there's no crisis. Crises are inevitable, but they can handle it. They can get through it. They can navigate it together. So that's number 3, partner and one flesh. Partner, one flesh. Again, Genesis 2:24. Number 4, loyal and supportive. Sometimes I call that, I think that's it. Loyalty, right? Loyalty and supportive. That's Proverb 31. There's some part of Proverb 31 that talks about that. Again, you're not to take any words in the Bible and start interpreting it literally. Just take what fits. Again, there's a goal here. The goal here is that if you're a woman, it's not really your responsibility to be finding a husband. Okay? Your job is to know what being a wife means. You're already a wife before you are found. Right? Davido did not find a girl that became a wife. He found a wife. You're already a wife before you are found. Very important. Very important. And when you are found, if it's truly a husband, right, it won't be about all this. It's like all that painful stuff that we tend to talk about. Unfortunately, life presents itself in very funny ways. Whatever Davido and Chioma has right now, all of that will still be tested too, because they have their whole life ahead of themselves. We're just talking about what today looked like, the beautiful wedding, why they're so happy. A lot of people seems to be very surprised on why they're so happy, because they keep thinking about Wiri Anita in America. Like, no, everybody is typically, in any family, they're typically happy on wedding days for a good reason. People will start crying about a wedding they saw on TV. They have no idea. That's how beautiful it is. It is what it is, right? But there's something about us that make us envy that, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. What we're trying to do now, how many more minutes do we have? Good. This is a good time to get into the 13 lessons, is to build on top of that. I'm going to share some 13 mistakes to avoid immediately, that Davido and Chioma need to avoid immediately. Because now the work starts. And I don't like to call it work, because when you call it work, it's like, you make it scary. No, it's just life. You have to do work too if you are just living your life by yourself anyway. So it's nothing extra special except that you've chosen to do life with another person. It's a form of leverage, right? You get to feed off of each other. Once you find your husband or you find your wife, right? And then everybody can sit on the sidelines and judge it all they want, because they know a little bit small part of your story from the past. They will be all right, especially if you listen to this next segment, because nobody's life is perfect anyway. Before I go into this next segment, I think I should come to the chat. We still have 41 people listening. Wow. That's interesting. I can't believe that everybody's still listening. You guys want me to do more stuff like this? It's not really I enjoy the other stuff more. I do. But let me read the chat backwards. Uncle Beno says, MOP, can you say that again, please? You're already a wife before you are found. Yes, that's a fact. Chioma respects herself first, hence she can be respectful to Adeleke. Yes. And a lot of people are questioning her self-esteem. I'm not sure how you can use one or two events of a person's life to judge somebody's self-esteem. But I get that they are sensationalized because they are public figures. I get that. But look inwards and check that, please. Why are you judging somebody off of two events, like a whole person's life, off of two events that you know happened to them in this life? Could make sense. Today is full-blown Bible study. You are preaching, good brother. I am. Oh my God! Don't tell me that. I don't want people always say, "Hey, you're going to become a pastor." Me, I have to curse. Like fuck. I have to. Unless you allow me to be a pastor and I can curse. I'm a curser. I don't do that here a lot, but I'm a curser. All right, so do you want to hear a pastor with curses? Tell me if you want to hear that. Isn't it funny though? Is he wearing IG models pajamas or what? Endless possibility for another woman. What do the gods wear to bed? Okay, you guys are talking something else now. I'm just trying to see if I missed any chat. I'm glad you guys are having a conversation. Hello, Binkwe, welcome. Binkwe is on our side here, so she can always be here with us late in the evening. Welcome, Binkwe. This wedding kind of give me closure on Chioma personality. That girl is a very smart girl, even smarter than many grown women when it comes to game of love and marriage. I mean, as far as we can see right now, right? So we're just trying to extract all the lessons we can extract there. Some people's dream is to just have a wedding like that, and then they'll figure everything else after that. I'm not mad at them too, you know. But the work starts after. I hate using the word work. It make me feel funny, but it's work. Okay, anything that's worthwhile in life requires work. So it's not just a matter of marriage. And I'm saying that to people that are scared of marriage because everybody's always saying it's work, it's work, it's work. Like, anything that you care about requires work to maintain, to sustain, to build, right? Who is wearing pajamas? What are you guys talking about? He's crying and the strawberries are distracting me. And then the fact that it's a shorts and shirt. Okay. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm missing it now. All right. So you don't mind me cursing and preaching? Nigerians don't be your mate. Nigerian Christianity is not your mate. It's not your mate. Anyway, all right, so let's get into let's go ahead and do the 13. This 13 is very, very important. But Davido finds a wife. Proverbs 18, 20, 22 is the key here. He means well. He looks like he means well. Part of the skills that we need to acquire over time is what we're going to be talking about right now. It's not stuff that you can. Let's just talk about that in the next segment because I'm now about to dive into the next segment. Let's do that, and I'll be right back in 20 seconds. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.